Hello everyone, my name is Devon Taylor. I'm also known as TUBARED, and today I'd like to help you learn how to mic your sousaphone or your tuba and get the best sounds possible. We're going to be talking about microphone placement, and we're also going to be talking about different types of microphones that you can use. So without further ado, let's get started.
Can we just talk? Figure out where we're going.
The first type of microphone I'd like to talk to you about is a really popular one for so many applications. It's called a SHURE SM58. They pick up sound in one direction, the way they're pointing. So the further you get away from this little point, the less sound is picked up. So essentially, if the microphone is facing this way, it would pick up the audio from this end and less from this direction. Now this is a popular one. It's called an SM58. They also sell one, the same company, SHURE, as an SM57 without this windscreen. And you can use this microphone for recording pretty much anything. All the microphones are going to have different sounds, and I'll show you how they all work later. The next type of microphone I'd like to talk to you about is called a large diaphragm condenser microphone. That's what you hear me talking into right now. This is the Neumann TLM 103. There are many types of condenser microphones. Some of them are small diaphragm and others are large diaphragm. It's important that when you're playing tuba and recording, if you're going to use a condenser microphone, you want a large diaphragm. Now, with different types of condenser microphones, they have different polar patterns. Now, this one specifically is a cardioid pattern, which is more of a heart shape. So on the back, it doesn't pick up as much. And then as it goes around to the front, that's where it hears most. So if you hear me going like this, you can hear the sound change. The third type of microphone I'd like to talk to you about is called a ribbon microphone. Ribbon microphones come in many different shapes and sizes, from large to small. The one I have here today is called a Royer R121 ribbon microphone. And the way this one hears is in a figure 8 polar pattern. You can see there's these two little metal slots on the side, and how this hears is like in a big bubble like this and a big bubble like this. So it'll pick up sound from both sides when you're recording with it. What's unique about a ribbon microphone is it has a piece of metal that is suspended inside of two different magnets, and when any sound goes into it, it vibrates that very, very thin piece of metal. A lot of people would say that listening to something that's being recorded with a ribbon microphone is the most natural way it would sound. Like if you were in a room with the instrument, when this is recording that instrument, it would sound exactly the same, most people would say. First up, SM58 dynamic microphone. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to only use the microphone I'm talking about to record each section. So I'll talk into it with my voice so you can get kind of an idea, and I'll talk to you about microphone placement. The first thing I want to show you is a really common application for just miking any kind of instrument from sousaphone to tuba. You put it on the outside of whatever you're miking. Right now, I'm miking my face. And when you move the microphone away, it loses a lot. I said it loses a lot, if you didn't hear that. Dynamic microphones typically are placed pretty close to whatever you're miking. So if I were to mic this sousaphone, or if I were to mic a tuba, there are two ways I would use it. And let me show you the first way. The first way I'd use this microphone is by placing it directly in the center of the bell of your tuba or your sousaphone. The way you want to put it is not too far from your sousaphone, not 6 inches, not 12 inches. You need to be pretty close. Right now, I'm just a few inches away from my mouth, and that sounds pretty good. So what you want to do is get it like if you had your bell, you'd stick it in the middle and move it just like an inch or two away so it can get some nice sibilance of your sousaphone talking. And here's an example of that. The second way I would use this dynamic microphone is to actually stick it inside of my sousaphone. I don't typically use this kind of microphone to mic a tuba that way, but you can. Now, I only use this sound when I'm playing bass in a brass band. And when I mean bass, I mean sousaphone bass. A lot of the time when I play with the brass band, I will stick this microphone inside of my bell and hang it just by the cable. For really good recordings, when I really care about the sound, I'll put a sock over this so you can't hear it rattle around in there. But I will stick it about to here, draped inside of the bell. And what this does is it gives you really big low end, and it gets a lot of the sibilance out of your sousaphone sound. So when I use this, I typically will actually plug into a bass amp and be able to control the tone that way. And that's how I like to get a really nice fat low end sousaphone sound. Here's what that sounds like. Now here's an up-close personal view of how I put the microphone in. Check it out. And now we're on to the large diaphragm condenser microphone. You can hear the difference. The microphone when I started was much closer, and this is what it sounds a little further away, maybe 1.5 feet gained up. My first miking application would be close-up miking, and I wouldn't mic this instrument, the tuba or the sousaphone, necessarily right here, because when I listen to the tuba especially, I don't listen to the tuba player on top of them. I'm used to hearing the tuba player below their bell level, or from a few feet away, or many, many feet away. So I put the microphone pretty close to the bell, maybe 6 inches, and I don't turn up, it's not turned up really loud. I'll show you what that sounds like. You can probably notice a little hissing sound, and that's the sound of my computer fan. And you can really hear it when you have a really nice condenser microphone, especially when it's gained up. So you can see that I'm further away, it's picking up more room sounds. So if you don't have a really dead sounding room, it's important that you probably mic pretty close and have your things gained down pretty low. But if you're looking for something to solve your room noise situation, there are so many applications that you can add on to this. The cheapest one that I used to use is, this is like some kind of milk crate kind of deal. I have stuck foam inside of here, creating a little barrier, and you just stick the microphone stand through here, and your microphone sits in there, and it creates like a little room, so it only hears from this direction. So that's one way. And there are professional models. Something like this will do the trick also. But if you're on a budget, This and some foam will save you. The second way to use this microphone is miking at a further distance. Now, when you are at a further distance, you're probably going to have to turn it up a little bit, or you're going to have to be playing louder. Typically, I don't mic at far distances because I don't really have the room to. If I wanted to create an ambient sound, I would move my microphone to a different part of the room. But you have to remember, if your microphone is far away, it will pick up things that are in your room. But if you're mic'd really close and you aren't gained too high, then it's going to really focus on the sound that is being projected into it versus being further away and picking up a lot of your room sound. So if you're looking for more room sound, obviously you can tell, move it further away, it will pick up things like that. Hey, yeah, check. Now we are on to the Royer R121 ribbon microphone. This microphone, you would not want to hold it in your hand when you record. You can probably hear my hand moving the microphone. If you can't, I can see it in the waves. So it's not very good to be holding in your hand like the SM58, or you wouldn't also hold a cardioid condenser microphone in your hand either. Best used in a stand. Also, this microphone is very, very delicate. You do not want to blow any wind inside of this thing. If you blow too much wind inside of this microphone, you will damage the ribbon element, and that is how it picks up the sound. So if that gets off just a little bit, the sound will deteriorate. So you can see I'm holding this at kind of an angle away from my face. I'm going to show you how I would typically use this microphone in my home studio to mic my tuba. I use this for my tuba and my sousaphone, but for this example, I'll show you my close-up miking technique. And when I use this microphone, I like to put it a little bit above the bell, not as close as the condenser microphone, a little further away and a little above the bell, like peeking in at an angle, not at a flat top angle, but kind of to the side. I'll show you what that looks like. Thank you everyone for checking out my miking video on how to mic your tuba and your sousaphone. I hope you learned something today and you enjoyed the video. Remember that there's no one perfect way to mic your instrument. There's different ways and different applications depending on where you are and who you're doing it for. If you're in a small room, or if you're in a large room, or if you're in a live setting, every way is different. But I hope you learned some basic tips on how to get started today and the different types of microphones you can use. It's up to you how you want to mic your instrument, and there's no one right way to get sound from your instrument with any of these microphones. These are my preferences and this is how I do it. So I hope that with this knowledge, you'll be able to get the perfect microphone for you for your perfect recording of your tuba and your sousaphone. Thanks again for checking out this video of how to mic your tuba and sousaphone. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. I've got more TUBARED tips and tricks coming for you. And hit that bell for notifications. TUBARED out. You see? They call me TUBARED. Now, I also play the bass. Some people don't even know. I started on the bass. This is a public funk service announcement.